Thanks, listeners, for joining us for today's program. We are getting caught up with conservation educator Julie Gabrielson from Nevada Department of Wildlife, and it's time to go outdoors, except we're going to start February by going indoors. Isn't that right, Julie?
We are. Well, towards the end of February, anyways. Yes. We've got our annual Elko Sportsman's Expo with our co-host, National Wild Turkey Federation, which is the local chapter, Ruby Mountain Rios. They're helping us out with it like they have for many, many years. We're actually in our 12th year this year. It's pretty exciting. And we changed it up a little bit. Traditionally, we've been a full day Saturday, partial day Sunday. This year, we have gone to a full day Friday and Saturday. So it's happening February 27th and 28th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. both days. We're excited to see how that works with us having the 4-day school weeks and a lot of the mines. A lot of those employees are off on Fridays as well. So we're thinking it's going to be a really good mix up for the show. It is free to the public. It's also got the free youth activity room, which is always really popular. Great outdoor gear with the vendors that we've got coming in. We've got a falconer coming in with his Harris's hawk, and that is Leo, or Leonidas for his full name. So we'll have a couple times both days available to come and see him as well, and we'll post something on social media about that coming up as well. The kids room and the kids activities include archery, the pellet gun shooting range, free wildlife totes to color that they get to take home and reuse, fly tying, and wildlife education, which has a lot of skins and skulls. We normally have some reptiles that come in, and depending on the volunteers available, the rosy boa usually comes out for the kids to get to see and even kind of touch a little bit. Our co-sponsors this year, we cannot say thank you enough to Fifth Gear, Riverton Motors, and Muley Maniacs. And there's also the free entry into the door prize drawing for anybody who attends. And you come through the free doors and you get the free door prize drawing. So, yeah, we encourage you to come and check it out. If you have any information, whether you want to just come and attend or you're a vendor and you're interested in a potential booth, we do have a couple small booths available still. You can give me a call at 775-777-2305.
And of course, we're talking to Julie Gabrielson, Department of Wildlife. What a great event. This is really focused on local activities, local vendors as much as possible, certainly, Julie, but it gives us a glimpse into, what's available to make that outdoor experience that much more pleasant. And you don't have to be a sportsman or woman. It can apply to all kinds of activities.
Not at all. And a lot of people don't realize that this is a nonprofit show. So any of the funds that do come in for from the vendors for their booth spaces, that is truly just to pay the facility and the advertising fees. Everything else is truly a nonprofit show. So it's a little bit more affordable than some of the shows. We are a small and intimate show because we have a smaller facility. So we do have limited amount of space for the vendors. But it's really about outdoor education and outreach, not just, making those contacts with the sportsmen, people that are really familiar with the outdoors and hunting and fishing and just general recreational opportunities in the area, but also those that are not familiar with that and maybe kind of planting a bug with them and kind of getting them a little bit interested and seeing what's out there for them.
Very cool. Of course, the Elko Sportsman's Expo is coming 2 great days, February 27th and 28th at the Elko Conference Center. Thank you.
The Elko Conference Center. I think I left that part out. So thank you.
Okay. I remembered it was in that general direction.
It is.
So Julie, thanks. Again, we'll be reminding folks of this amazing opportunity. And then, of course, we have Hunter Ed, which winter, or sort of like winter, is a good time to take these classes.
It is. So the Eastern region, which is where, Elko sits in the Eastern region, we're broken up into 3 different regions for the Department of Wildlife. And so Eastern region, we cover from White Pine County all the way up to Jackpot, and then from Battle Mountain over to Wendover. So we cover a big area. But this time of year, starting the end of January through about May, is when we have a really big push for hunter education classes. And a lot of that is it really kind of circles around when the big game application period opens up, usually in mid-March, and then closes again in May. So that's all focused around that. We do offer a couple other classes throughout the rest of the year, but not quite as many as we do this time. But Hunter Ed classes, they are in full swing now. We have at least one class almost every single weekend through May. Some we even have a Friday class as well as a Saturday and Sunday class. So some weekends there's even 3 classes available for you to choose from. So if you're looking to get onto the Hunter Ed roster, you're going to go to ndowlicensing.com and you're going to go to Get Certified, and it will pull up an option for you to pull up all the different regions and areas that you might be interested in taking classes and show you what's available.
Perfect. That's ndowlicensing.com. And then tell us about the volunteer program, Julie.
So our volunteer program, we could not do what we do without our volunteers. And I can't say that enough because it really is a huge statement for us. We hosted our annual Volunteer Instructor Awards and training meetings, which really is about honoring and our dedicated volunteers. And that's throughout the Elko, Ely, and Eureka areas is where we hold our dinners. Our volunteers teach a variety of classes from hunter education, angler ed, archery ed, wildlife ed programs, and that's pretty broad. Even though it's down into 4 programs, there's a lot that's going on into those. Those volunteers, we recognize them yearly for their service and their tenure. This year, we actually awarded 2 35-year awards. We have gotten up to 40. We did, I think, last year or the year before, we had a 40-year award. And now we're trying to figure out what we can give for a 45, because that's going to be coming soon as well. So it is a long time, thing that you can commit to and really find a lot of satisfaction in. In 2025 alone, our volunteer instructors contributed over 1,400 hours to our programs. And like I said, we couldn't do that on our own. I mean, myself with Team Nicole, it's just the 3 of us.
Yes.
There's no way we could do that. So we can't thank our volunteers enough.
Oh, especially for all the help in Archery Club and Trout in the Classroom, which we'll be talking a little more about. But I mean, my gosh, Julie, it also, I think, speaks to what it's like to work with NDOW and that you have folks volunteering for decades the way you do. So
yeah, it really is.
Congratulations. Yeah, it's a two-way street.
And we are, if you're interested, we are really in need of a few more people to help out with our after-school archery program. That's a twice-a-month event. It happens at Flagview Intermediate in the auxiliary gym. It's the first and third Tuesdays from 5:30 until 7. So we're not looking for somebody that can commit to be there 100% of the time, but somebody that can help fill in when we've got somebody else that can't be there. Or, I mean, if you want to be there 100%, I won't turn you down either. So we do have some programs in some areas that we definitely need some more help in. So if you're interested in that or any of the other programs and something that you'd like to get involved in, give us a call. You can call Nicole Hamlin. She's our volunteer coordinator, and her number is 775-777-2388.
Perfect, Julie. Well, on to the next topic. We learned just this week there's no snow bowl this year. The city of Elko has said, no, this is the second year in a row they couldn't open.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And that's crazy. Impacting ice fishing.
It is. And while there is some ice out on Wild Horse right now, we're not hosting our annual ice fishing clinic that we started a couple years ago. And it's really just because it's a much slower ice growth this year than average. And so when we focus so much on safety and preparation on an event like that, we really kind of toe the line when it really comes to that ice safety and what's considered bare minimum for safety versus good safety.
Solid safety.
Yeah, solid safety, exactly. And so we did cancel it for this year. We didn't even put it out there because we knew that we were really kind of counting the days. Okay, if it's not good ice by this date, then we're not going to offer the class this year. And unfortunately, it's just been one of those years. But if you do choose to go out on your own, just really be prepared and really test that ice before you get out there and get playing around on it. Because all of our waters have some hot spots in them as well. So even when there is really good ice, you still need to play it safe out there.
All right. That's the latest update on ice fishing. And then Trout in the Classroom. Wow, you guys are busy out there.
This is Nicole St. John, and yes, she is running Trout in the Classroom. We've got 21 active classes this year. Their eggs are going to be delivered the first week of February, so just next next week. They're going to be getting those eggs. Volunteers and staff will deliver eggs into classrooms across the region. That includes Paddle Mountain, Jackpot, Wells, Eureka, McGill, Lund, and the Elko Spring Creek area as well. So that's going to be coming, and then towards spring break time, sometime before spring break, is when they'll get to do their field trips and release those fish that are now a fingerling and a couple inches long from the eyed eggs that they'll get next week.
They start as fry, is that right? Or they call them fry?
No, they end we release
fry.
them between
Okay.
fry and fingerlings. They start as an eyed egg, so they come as an actual egg, and you can see the little black dot in them, and that is actually their eyes.
Their eyes. And that's what makes the kids so excited. They get to literally watch the trout grow up in the classroom and then participate and be out in the environment.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a really cool program.
Yeah.
It really is.
That sounds great.
So, and then her spring schedule, it is filling up. She fills up pretty fast, but she still has a little bit of room for some specialty programming through late April and May. So if you want to give her a call, you can call her at 775-777-2391. And then she's also planning our 2026 Wild Week again. And we've started partnering with several local education partners to fill that entire week. And it's usually through the spring break for Elko County School District. So that's going to be March 30th through April 3rd this year. So be watching for that, because that is limited space on each day.
Yeah, and it fills up fast, but plan on Wild Week over spring break. We're talking with Julie Gabrielson, Nevada Department of Wildlife Conservation Educator. And then moving on to the game topic, Julie.
Game, yes. Turkey application period just closed. I think Monday actually is when it closed. The tag results should be posted by February 13th. We've still got some active bird seasons with checker, the Hungarian partridge, quail seasons. Those will close on Sunday, February 1st. So you've got a couple extra days that you can get out there before that closes. However, if you're trying to extend your hunting season a little bit, rabbit season runs through February 28th.
All right. So you can get out there and enjoy some hunting and maybe some family time.
Absolutely.
Or some gal time or some guy time.
However you want to work it. Yep.
Exactly. It's part of the living in the great outdoors in this beautiful landscape. So back to the topic of fishing or fisheries, Julie, what can you tell us about that?
So going back to wild horse and talking about ice fishing a little bit, wild horse, as of Sunday, it had about 5 inches of ice on it, and that's in the main part of the reservoir. Still use extreme caution and test the ice before you're venturing out there. Fishing has been pretty good for the perch and even some of the trout. The west shore of South Fork has some water that's opening and closing, so it's coming back and forth depending on the weather. So again, extreme caution when you're out there, and just play it safe and be smart about it. The areas of open water, they can actually be really good though for early season trout fishing from the shoreline. So that's the best for safety, right?
That's right. That's right. And then with even warmer weather that's expected, it's kind of on again, off again. It further deteriorates the ice.
It does, yeah. So with warmer weather, it is any current ice conditions that they do have, expect that to deteriorate with the warmer weather.
So how does this warmer weather impact our urban wildlife situation, would you say, Julie?
They're just on the move.
They're looking for stuff.
They're looking for stuff, and it's a little bit easier for them to find it without too much snow on the ground. But some things to think about. We've got a lot of urban wildlife. Even though we don't necessarily consider ourselves a genuine urban area outside of Elko, so like the Spring Creek area, we may not consider that as urban as some areas, but we still deal with a lot of the traditional urban wildlife issues because of it. And some of that comes back to the resources available to our wildlife, whether it's intentional by us as homeowners or unintentional, they find it. So some things to keep in mind: don't feed the deer. And that goes back to the intentional or unintentional. If you're putting feed out specifically for the deer, there is an NRS against that. That is illegal. And then the unintentional feeding, if you've got livestock out there, do everything that you can to keep the deer from getting into that livestock. And I mean, it benefits you as well, because you're saving some of your feed.
Yeah, that's not cheap.
Yeah. But those inappropriate feeds, they can actually be fatal to wildlife. And it does come with associated penalties if you're caught feeding deer. So just lock up your pet and livestock feed, fence in your yards, trees, shrubs. 6 feet fence or a little bit higher are the best for keeping deer out. As far as locking up your pet feed, some things to do with that. If you've got a dog door that comes in from just an open backyard into your garage, there are little critters that can make it through those dog doors. So even though we're talking about deer specifically, there's other wildlife that can make it through there and come in and raid your supply. So even though you think that you've got it safe and secure inside a garage or a storage building or something, lock it up still inside there, inside a big storage container, a garbage can or something with a lid. That way the smell doesn't get out there quite as easily for them to come in and attract them to it. Also watch for those deer auto collisions. They're most mobile at that early in the morning and late in the afternoon. And so it's that dusk hour. And so they're kind of hard to see sometimes coming across the road. So it's really just important that you slow down, take it easy, and keep your eyes open on all sides of the road as you can, because they do move quickly and they can surprise us even if they're just standing there.
And then if you do see an animal like a deer that's been injured, a lot of people want to intervene, Julie, but there's some realities about living out here.
There are. So NDOW does not offer any, we can't do any rehab for any of the big game. There's a few places that we can take some raptors to, depending on their availability, but it's not even in the area. We have to go outside state line to be able to do that. So when it comes to injured animals and wildlife for us, we really want you to just let it be. The biggest reason is because especially deer and the game animals, they're really resilient. And a lot of our wildlife is very resilient. They're used to living as wild animals, right? And so it's amazing some of the injuries that they can overcome. We've seen deer that have, lost half a leg in an accident, and 2 years later, they're still up and moving, and does having fawns still. And so they're really pretty incredible animals. And so the biggest thing is to just, let them be. If you really think that they're struggling, then sometimes we can intervene, but it's not normally on the pleasant side.
Yeah. And then you do want to call NDOW, obviously, for that intervention like you talked about. If it is severe, if, maybe the animal's like in a position where it could hurt someone else, or because, then you do call NDOW, right?
Absolutely,
okay.
yeah. If the animal is severely enough hurt, or if they're being aggressive to, towards a homeowner or towards kids or something, because a lot of times, and that goes back to the feeding, if they've been, kind of bribed in, or however
That's
you
right.
might whatever, they're suckered into a feeding source, and then suddenly that feeding source isn't there, or somebody's threatening it in their thought. Sometimes they can get a little bit more assertive.
Let's just say.
So if you come across in either of those situations, give us a call. You can call the main office at 775-777-2300.
So just, I'll tell you a couple quick stories because they're kind of fun about these animal interactions in places like Tuscarora. They've had some moose in town even. And
and there was one in their pond.
Yes, you heard about that one.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was just swimming and chilling. And
he's actually been in there more than once.
Yes, he likes it.
Yes, he's fond of it.
And then I'll have to show you after this broadcast, but I have a picture from a friend in Tuscarora. She came out into her kitchen, Julie, a recent morning. There was an ermine just checking out her countertops and her sink. And it was this incredible looking critter. It's white because it's winter.
Yeah, it's probably, and it's got the black tip on the tail.
I didn't notice that, but
So in the summertime, they'll turn brown.
Beautiful, but she said not in my house.
She's got a dog door.
I don't know how it got in. I don't know that but you're right. It could have been something like that. But yeah, she had to get some live traps. And I guess there's a family of ermine in Tuscarora, and people like them when they're outside.
Yeah, and they're fierce.
Yeah, they're good mousers, but
they're fierce.
Apparently they're not timid. So yeah, because she was filming it the whole time, and it was like, what?
This is my place now.
That's right. I'm after some peanut butter. It's warm in here, so kind of exciting. But there you go. Talking with Julie Gabrielson, Nevada Department of Wildlife. She's our conservation educator, and she gets weird questions and stories like that all the time. And so this program is to help her and NDOW to get the word out about, various ways that we can be better stewards. That, if you don't know, then how are you going to be able to, uphold some of these? For example, law enforcement goes around, and mostly it's just to keep people safe, right, Julie?
It really
Yeah,
is.
they're
It's
not-
about safety.
Yeah.
Yep, it really is. And, some of the things, that law enforcement we regularly see and need to remind folks of is like back to ice fishing. We do have a max hole size, and that's a 10-inch hole size. And that is truly for your safety because you can't fall through it as easily when it's a small hole. You get some areas in back east, they have these massive holes that they're allowed to put in the ice. And it really can become a safety concern. So Nevada, we do have the max of 10 inches for your ice fishing hole. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just nodding with you. Yes,
Gotcha.
that is the thing. Yes. I could see why, obviously, and for kids and dog safety too.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've had kids fall or put a leg in the
Yeah.
hole because they're out there playing. They're being
Yeah,
kids and they're having a good
goofing
time and having a good time. And so a leg goes in the hole and you got to haul them back to the truck and, kind of strip them down a little bit, let them dry out, warm
Yeah.
back up, and then we end up back out on the ice. And it's sometimes a lesson hard learned that isn't learned the first time for some of the littles. But it is. It really is about safety with that 10-inch hole.
And then we do have shed hunting. That's a popular family activity or even for individuals, Julie.
It is. It's a great time to get out, but shed hunting is closed on public lands in Elko, Eureka, Lander, Lincoln, Nye, and White Pine counties. And that closure is from January 1st through April 30th. And that is enforced with the Association of the NAC. So there is a shed ethics online training that's required to get a certificate to be able to shed hunt. And that's for collecting sheds after April 30th, so May 1st when it opens up. And that course usually comes available online around April, usually around the 1st of April. It is a free course, but it does have to be renewed yearly, and you can find that at NDOWlicensing.com. Some things to think about with the closure and what comes with that. So if it's a 9 demerit violation if you're caught,
Wow.
cited and convicted of gathering shed antlers in a closed area that's during that closed shed season. Not only demerits is what you receive, but you can get a monetary fine up to about $500. And all of the antlers that were illegally possessed can and will be seized and forfeited according to the law. So when I got this information, I thought, let's go into the demerits a little bit and let's talk about how these demerits work, because it's kind of an unknown. Until you get a violation, most people don't know how the demerits work. So each type of violation is assigned a demerit count. And that is set by our Wildlife Commission as far as what violation gets how many points. So demerits, once those hit your record, they stay on your record for 5 years. Once 12 demerits are accrued and applied to your record, you then face the potential of revocation of hunting and fishing privileges in the state.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
this can get even bigger because there's something called the Western States Compact. This actually includes 30 states. And if the violation leads to a revocation of your hunting and fishing privileges in Nevada, depending on the violation, it can be pushed forward to that Western States Compact, and you could lose your privileges in all of those 30 states.
Yeah, serious consequences. And again, it's just to keep the sport, safe and equal for everybody, and just keep us good stewards.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh boy.
So,
Yeah.
So I just thought, let's talk demerits a little bit and see, where these violations go and can go for you.
Yeah. Same thing with your driver's license.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the same program.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, and people can participate, although from a distance, right? If they do have concerns about possible illegal activity in hunting or on our public lands.
Yep. So we've got our Operation Game Thief, which is a phone number that you can call, and that's 800-992-3030. It's not a bad idea. Just program it into your phone and keep it there. And then if you do see something kind of silly going on out in the field when you're out there, we recommend you don't approach it. Just take as much information as you can for us and report it to either this phone number or our NDOW tip app. So both of them can be anonymous. You don't have to give any of your personal information when you call it in. That does tend to help in further investigations if need be, if they need to have a little bit further conversation with you on the details that you might have seen and what you saw. But it is not required. But I can't emphasize enough, don't ever approach the situation. Just take all the information, license plates, color, make, model of vehicle if you can, number of people, big people, little people, are there kids in the area, and what the violation is that you think that is happening.
All right. That's very helpful. NDOW tip app can be downloaded, or Operation Game Thief 1-800-992-3030. Talking with Julie from Nevada Department of Wildlife. And now it's time to talk about some operations, some things that are going on specific to this time of year.
Yeah, the front office stuff. So again, our chukar and Hungarian partridge hunts, those close on Sunday. Cottontail is open until the 28th of February. We do have 2 more bobcat sealing dates coming up here in the Elko office, and that's February 17th as well as March 10th. Both of those will be 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Bobcat and fox seasons both close on February 28th as well with that cottontail closure. Application dates, like we talked about, the turkey application period is over, but the bonus point for buying bonus points for the turkey that's open until the 2nd of February. So I believe that's on Monday. The draw will happen for the turkey applications on February 11th. And again, it should be posted for the draw results on the 13th of February.
All right, Julie. And then if you're out hunting mountain lion, there's some important dates to remember too.
Yeah, so mountain lions, that season actually closes February 28th as well. So if you're planning on doing any lion hunting after March 1st, you're going to need to get a new license and a new tag for that.
And I can't believe we're talking about boating season.
It has been warm.
Yeah, that's true, but still a little chilly. But safely boating, boat registration, all the things that go with boating, that's NDOW.
All things boating.
All right.
Yep. So boating season, it's coming up in our area. It's going to happen probably sooner than we realize. So boat registration is available online or in the office. And if you have any questions about purchasing a boat, call Natalie or Sydney in the Elko office. They are a great resource, and they can give you all the information that you need. Some of the things that they run into is no title. So a lot of folks will buy a boat at a yard sale and there's no title, and that can be a chore, to work through. Sometimes they're able to help folks acquire a title, but it's a time-consuming thing, and other times they can't find one. The trailer for boats, though, that is through the DMV, but the boat itself, everything boat itself, does come through NDOW.
All right. So get help in the office and know that they enjoy helping you. I've been in the office more than once, picking up the to-go kits, the really fun little education, grab and go, I think is
grab
what you
and go
call it.
kits.
Yeah,
yep.
Those are so fun for I have a youngster in the neighborhood, and boy, does he get excited when he sees those. He sees me getting out of the car with one of those. So
I should have brought you one today.
I know. I better stop by. So we want to talk about in the remaining minutes that we have, because people love, I found this out recently with the Bristlecone Audubon, Julie, the visiting Hawk Watch that came over from Utah. People love birds here.
They do.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so sweet.
They do.
Yeah.
So we're wrapping up our raptor surveys. They'll actually conclude this week, towards the end of the weekend. And that's a statewide with multiple routes, back roads, lots of miles by our volunteers and our staff. We're one of the few states that still continues to do these raptor surveys. Across the state, we have 68 routes, and each route varies from 9 miles to 200 miles. My personal route that I take each year is closer to the 200 mile.
You like that.
It's a long ways out there, but it's great. It really is great. And then we're also currently surveying bat hibernacula across the state through the end of February. And that's going to test for the fungus that causes the white nose syndrome. This disease, it's affecting many bat populations across North America. Nevada had its first positive detection of the fungus in 2025. But we're really watching that very closely. So to help prevent the spread of the fungus, stay out of the caves and mines, because we can actually carry it and move it around. So if you do enter a cave, be sure to clean your shoes and your gear in between sites. And it's best to always leave bats alone and just let them be, which is to go with all wildlife. Just let them be. So for more information on that, you can go to the website whitenosesyndrome.org and you can find out more there.
Perfect. And then I guess we can wrap up with news of the Audubon Great Backyard Bird Count.
February 13th through 16th is this year's Great Backyard Bird Count. You can find out more at thebirdcount.org/participate for more information on that. And we always encourage you to submit your bird observations on eBird.
Yes, what a fun app that one is, too.
It is.
And kiddos like that one, too.
Yep.
They try to figure out what bird they're looking at. Julie Gabrielson, Nevada Department of Wildlife. She's our local conservation educator. We appreciate you, Julie. What a lot of fun we get to have in our beautiful backcountry, and most of it's free, if not entirely free of charge, for very low cost.
How blessed can we be?
Exactly. Well, until we meet again, and we will see you for sure, we'll be talking more about the Sportsman's Expo coming up.
Yes.
All right. Thanks again. And thanks, listeners, for joining us for Elko Live today.